See more about it.
Am I Okay, now tell me.
Can someone see if the volume's working on the live stream?
I have it up and I don't hear it.
Also, what do you have your free law?
Give it like 30. Oh, there we go. Now I got it.
I'll be there.
Okay, are you gonna, no,
Is
it's
it
just.
echoing
with
still?
the
It
law.
echoed and then it just
So
went
you're
out.
gonna do that?
Yeah, it's working now. Ooh, I see. It echoed and it went out.
We've been.
Yeah. Can someone see if the volume's working on the live? It is working, it's not echoing. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Alright.
Meeting to order, roll call.
Senator Amsden,
Here.
Senator Otwell. Here. Senator Ballschmider. Here. Senator Bolio. Here. Senator Barazzi. Here. Senator Bedrin. Senator Bouchard. Here. Senator Branchard. Here. Senator Brown. Here. Senator Tate.
Here.
Senator Daniels. Here. Senator Demers.
Here.
Senator Dias.
Here.
Senator Dillon.
Here.
Senator Do Nascimento. Senator Farrell.
Here.
Senator Gagnon. Here. Senator Godek.
Here.
Senator Goodman.
Here.
Senator Gudick.
Here.
Senator Guzman. Here. Senator Holman. Senator Joseph. Senator Contos. Here. Senator Lemieux. Here. Senator Lipscomb.
Here.
Senator Mackey. Senator Mazzaferro. Here. Senator Umbasam. Senator Miller. Senator Noonan. Here. Senator O'Connor.
Here.
Senator Oros. Here. Senator Pavlik.
Here.
Senator Ritchie.
Here.
Senator Scorpa. Senator Sidlecki. Here. Senator Silver.
Here.
Senator Spalding.
Here.
Chairperson Lucier.
Here.
Secretary Bronson. Chairperson Greenwood.
Here.
Chairperson McKiernan.
Here.
Treasurer Thurston.
Here.
Chairperson Amaya.
Here.
Vice President Cloutier.
Here.
President Kaufman.
Present. All right, we have a very, very light agenda for today. There's a little bit of commotion happening on campus. I'm hoping it doesn't make its way up here. If it does, I'm just gonna let you all know right now. I'm just gonna sit back and just let them say whatever they want. So, even if it's in the middle of my speech, I'm just gonna move right over and sit down and smile. So, yeah. But we'll move for the acceptance of the minutes from the 2/17/2026 meeting. So just hearing a second, are there any revisions, deletions, comments? I don't even know, additions, revisions, deletions, comments, whatever, to the minutes? Seeing none, we'll move for a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? The motion passes. Next, moving into new and existing business, we have the state of the campus address. I'm gonna move over to the podium now. You guys don't, you can say it.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go around this way. But, I did not plan for this to be the same day as the State of the Union. I wanted this to be our first meeting back like it was last year, but then we took that meeting off, then we had more pressing issues to talk about. So I'm glad that we are doing this. Good afternoon, everyone. Vice President Cloutier appointed executives and members of the Student Senate. At the beginning of last year's final Student Senate session, I introduced what I hope would become a standing tradition, one that many student governments nationwide observe, a state of the campus address delivered by the President of the Student Senate. Or as some people on the e-board like to call it, my chance to get all spiffy and yeah. Anyways, the purpose is simple: reflection, accountability, and direction. You deserve to know what is being worked on and what has been accomplished behind the scenes, even when you may not vote on it directly. And today, I hope to share exactly that. There's one issue we haven't really talked about publicly yet that does affect the work that we do, and that's the recent changes to the fundraising policy, clubs and organizations. I understand the accounting reasons behind that decision, but the reality is those changes have created real challenges for our clubs looking to next year. The executive board, through Chairman McKiernan, has been working to expand our crowdfunding periods and make our system comparable to what other colleges and universities across the country already offer. At most schools, launching crowdfunding is a lot more simple. platforms are open all year round or operating in multiple well-advertised cycles, while ours is limited and the systems hold organizations like ours back. We need to modernize and quickly before next school year. Updating crowdfunding will directly benefit clubs. It will help offset money lost from the Senate budget, and it will ease the strain this policy change just created. Other institutions are outperforming us because their systems are simply built for success and ours is not. It's time to catch up. We will work with advancement to make this change happen. And if needed, I'm not afraid to write another formal letter detailing exactly what needs to be done before the term concludes. I want to talk about budgets as well. At the end of last school year, we finalized club budgets and faced understandable criticism because many clubs were operating under tight constraints. Under Treasurer Thurston's leadership, we addressed every concern brought to us proactively. And we also proactively reached out to the most vocal organizations with guidance, support, and when appropriate, additional funding. Let me be clear, reaching out to clubs after the budget process to offer them more money is something that simply has never been done before. But we did it because it was the right thing to do. As we noted during that budget meeting, not every club we expected to return for funding actually did. This happens naturally every single year. That combined with the emergency funds we intentionally set aside gave us flexibility to help the clubs that actually needed it the most. And here's the plain truth. As far as I know, the only group that had to cut well-attended programs and significantly scale back long-running traditions was us, the Senate. We made sacrifices so others didn't have to. Yet this year, we ran more events than any time since I arrived here on campus. It wasn't perfect, but we managed, and we managed it successfully. Our plan worked, even though we faced backlash at the time. The groups we worked with showed more appreciation to the Finance Committee than I have ever seen. I have to thank Treasurer Thurston again for her hard work in ensuring that that was done. There's another issue to confront head on. In an online public forum, a few club leaders took a swing at the entire Senate. And it was not at me personally. In fact, I was complimented. But I want to defend all of you and your integrity. The claim was that because we didn't take a student's side in a dispute with administration, we were a mouthpiece for the administration. That is wrong, and it misunderstands student government at its core. If student government spends its time simply just attacking administration over every little decision that they make, or whenever one student is upset over just one small thing, nothing meaningful will ever get done, and we fail the broader student body at our one job. Our responsibility is to represent everyone, not just the loudest voices. And in baseball terms, it's to call balls and strikes when there are balls and strikes. So to every senator, past and present, I'll defend the work that you've done as promised. Calling the Senate a mouthpiece when you didn't get your way is admitting that you haven't been paying close enough attention. Our record speaks for itself. If anyone needs a reminder, revisit our meeting from 2 weeks ago or the second meeting of the term. Yes, that meeting, the one that was written about in the Westerner, because the receipts are right there, and I'll leave that at that. Setting aside snow and infrastructure headaches, to understand the campus's true state, we must consider where we are and where we're going, and where we also have been. Last year, I called the state of the campus strong, not casually, because longstanding issues, club support, construction delays, the campus center, finally seemed to be moving towards a resolution after months of uncertainty and years of planning. For the first time in a long time, it felt like the pieces were falling into place. In the months that followed, that optimism was tested. Layoffs occurred right after. Student voices were heard on some issues and overlooked on others. Tensions grew. Budget reductions to the Student Senate became clear during our first budgeting process under a reduced budget. Administrative departures added to uncertainty. These challenges forced us to confront a more complex reality, and I proceeded to eat those words due to the unforeseen that would occur. Our community wasn't as strong as I or we all believed. Cries seemed constant, we grew siloed and uneasy. The university's future felt most certainly uncertain. Yet resilience showed through students, clubs, and this Senate, which kept pushing forward. collaborating, and finding solutions. For the first time during my time here, the Board of Trustees issued a clear statement about the university's future direction, providing reassurance that the work of this campus would continue. Vice President Matthews, members of the university cabinet, and several deans reached out to help chart a better path forward. That perseverance is the foundation we built on today, and why the future is hopeful. A standard has been set. Senators, I'll say this clearly, and I will not eat these words this time, I promise. Despite the infrastructure issues and the severe weather, the state of this campus and its future is most definitely hopeful. I'm not pretending everything is perfect. It isn't. Hard decisions most definitely lie ahead for the Senate, for this community, for the university leadership. But this community is battle tested. Over winter break, several alumni, people who've seen decades of changes, reminded me that many describe Western New England as the miracle that occurred on Wilbraham Road. That miracle isn't nostalgic or a museum piece. It's alive, it's stubborn, and it's enduring. This community has grit. Whatever challenges lie ahead, we've already proven we can weather worse, ironically. We survived the past, we will survive and overcome what's ahead. As the days of mine and Vice President Cloutier's administration wind down, we are not slowing down. If the miracle of Western New England lives, the student voices must remain strong, regardless of when its student leaders graduate. This administration has championed changes that may not even affect us directly, and we will continue to do so for the betterment of this campus and the community that we call home. We are committing right now not to stop fighting for the students until April 14th, 2026, when we transition terms. At the end of last semester, we canceled several Senate meetings, but our work didn't stop. Structural changes over the past few years allowed legislative and the finance committee to continue operating effectively outside of our formal meetings. Around that same time, we launched the Suffolk Cruiser event and kept communications alive on Instagram. The Senate kept moving forward. However, Vice President Cloutier and I paused other business to focus on one of the university's most important responsibilities, the president's search. I'm proud to say that this work is now complete, and between the two of us, one of us attended every single meeting, and both of us were present for roughly 90% of them. With this concluded, and with the dedication of our committee members, we can confidently say Western New England is entering a new era under our incoming president, President Joe Hartman. This was the defining accomplishment of the fall, not just for Vice President Cloutier and me, but for this entire body. As a student government, we played a real, meaningful role in a leadership transition that will shape student involvement and campus growth for years to come. That is not something every student government gets to say. I want to specifically thank Senators Brown, Mackey, Ritchie, and Ottawa for playing a direct role in that process with myself and Vice President Cloutier. You represented students thoughtfully, seriously, and with the kind of professionalism this moment most definitely requires of our student leaders. President Hartman is deeply committed to building community, fostering collaboration, and creating spaces for students to have tangible impacts. Vice President Cloutier and the senators involved can tell you that firsthand. He values student voices in the room, he listens, and he engages. He welcomes partnership. That is the kind of environment student leadership like the one that we bring to the table thrives in. So when President Hartman arrives next year, introduce yourself. Don't wait, engage with them. Share your ideas, ask your questions, build that relationship early. This is more than a change in administration. This is an opportunity, a real one, for students to help shape the next chapter of Western New England University in a way that hasn't been seen in years. I will also be working to arrange a meeting between myself, my successor, Interim President Alexander, and President Hartman before the end of the year, when the timing is right, so he can get an early look at what awaits him next year when it comes to working with student leaders on this campus. But for now, we must finish by focusing on finishing the term strong. Vice President Cloutier and I will continue to tackle pressing issues as they arise right now. I keep saying it's infrastructure related, but besides from that, right now, that focus is on Secretary Bronson's work with academic affairs. We will be redoubling efforts to expand zero-cost textbooks and OER materials, making education more accessible for all of our students. We will revisit discussions about implementing Common Hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Chairperson Amaya will amend the Constitution, refining seat distributions and creating clear requirements for the presidency, which we just did the other day. Chairperson McKiernan will compile a report with recommendations for upcoming capital projects, and we'll be working on the infrastructure issues I keep mentioning as well. Treasurer Thurston will be reallocating the funds recovered from audits and preparing for next school year's budget. Chairperson Greenwood will be highlighting the incredible work the Senate, all of you, all of us on eBoard has accomplished and will accomplish. And finally, we have exciting events led by Chairperson Lucier to run and enjoy in the weeks ahead. Oh, and if you thought I would forget to highlight the work of our dedicated Secretary Kilday, who is meticulously recording everything that happens at every single one of our meetings, you clearly haven't seen me in action long enough. I sent her this speech in advance so she doesn't have to type it all. To close, the most important job for Vice President Cloutier, myself, and the seniors is overseeing the next election and the transition to the next administration for the Student Senate. For those who are not seniors, the upcoming term is the most important time to serve. Not when you feel ready, not when life slows down, now. With a new university president, you have a rare opportunity to shape what comes next from the start. I've asked many of you, have you thought about stepping up? I know the answers, I'm used to them. I'm not ready. Someone else will do it. I couldn't handle that. I won't repeat what I tell the first years because a lot of you have already heard those speeches before, but I do have something to share for those of you on the fence. And it's the stories of how I became legislative chair and how I became president. I became legislative chair when the Senate was divided. Major motions barely passed, leadership shifted, student involvement just hired new staff, and our Constitution was messy. We debated our own authority. We spent time at meetings, 30, 40 minutes, debating if we had the authority to talk about specific issues. I was a sophomore commuter stepping into my first leadership role, feeling disconnected, but realizing that perspective might be exactly what was needed at that time. I applied for the position after our vice president departed and our legislative chair at the time stepped up, interviewed, and got the role. I inherited instability. Under President Alvord, we made structural changes, rebuilt our credibility, compromised, and strengthened administrative relationships to actually get business done. Then I became president. It was not at a time of calm. We had 8 senators, 3 of which are still here from that time. So shout out to Senator Skorpa, Secretary Bronson, and Vice President Cloutier. But that trust that we just built up in the last term was definitely damaged. Resignations followed. I started as the vice president, and the president resigned over the summer because of what we were going through. And I stepped up at that time. Yes, I was scared, not of the workload, not of the meetings or the late nights, but whether I would be enough to meet the expectations while carrying strengths forward and rebuilding from the end of last year or the year before. Leadership doesn't wait for fear to disappear. It asks you to move anyways. And it is worth it. It was worth it watching the Senate grow from 8 to 49 members today. It was worth it to rebuild that trust piece by piece, enduring those longer meetings, having hard conversations, and knowing you showed up when it mattered. It was 100% worth it. Over the last 2 years, we built something strong. We rebuilt credibility, strengthened our Constitution, refined the rules package, created stricter but fairer election standards, redid the budget process, even before the budget cut, which helped us handle that situation better. When I joined, debates spiraled because our foundation wasn't in order and people questioned whether it was even our plan or our place to act. Often, rightfully, I said that they were right. And they would say, get your house in order before you tell us what to do. Respectfully, our house is in order now. And we will stay that way so the next leaders can focus on impact instead of repair. I'm certain that that next group of leaders is in this room sitting here today. I'm not asking everyone to become the next Senate president. I'm asking you to use your positions in new ways with a president who wants to hear from student leaders and will push his team, the vice presidents, the deans, to do the exact same every single day. If you're on the fence about applying for e-board or a special committee chair, this is your moment. A new university president brings momentum. Will student voices react from the sidelines or help lead from the start? People are already watching who speaks with intention, asking hard questions, and shows up consistently. What feels like humility could be hesitation, and hesitation has never moved this university forward. This campus doesn't need perfect leaders. It needs committed, honest, and courageous ones. If you are not a senior, hear me clearly. Your time is not someday. If you are in this room, you are capable. Your time is now. Do not wait for certainty. Do not wait for permission. If you want permission, here it is. Go for it. This Senate's legacy is bigger than any one president. It began long before me, and it will continue long after I'm gone. I believe in your judgments, your courage, and your heart for this community. That's why you're here. If you have a question about stepping up, I wrote the job descriptions of every single appointed role. And if you forgot, I'm also the president and served a short time as vice president. I'll stay here after the meeting. I'm here to help. If you guys need advice, have questions, please let me know. I believe in all of you, and I'm jealous of the opportunities you will have next term. But now really is the time to step up. Thank you. It's hot in here. Rollover report discussion. I'm kind of just going to go off the rip with this. There's not much of a big discussion that really needs to happen. Secretary Kilday is going to send out the standards for the rollover report, but it's essentially just going to highlight all the work that you guys have been doing. So you should refer to every single one of the reports that you submitted, or if you joined a little late, whether you were an alternate appointed in because of the class council, you should look at what was done before you and just put together that work, even if it wasn't your own, and then just submit it. It's going to be put together in a very formal report. The report will get sent to the Board of Trustees, the university cabinet. There will be copies of it at the transition ceremony for our guests to look through. It's really just a great way to highlight the work that you guys have been doing all together as a group. There will be one person to turn it in per group, just like the normal reports. Please put your best effort into the rollover report. Even if like other reports have had like small grammatical errors, Secretary Kilday tries to fix them, but it's okay to let those go in. It's just a monthly report, but the rollover report needs to be as perfect as we can make it. Vice President Cloutier.
At the same time that you guys are gonna be writing your rollover reports, I'm gonna reach out to you to set up individual meetings in case anybody needs help, just to check on progress and stuff. It's part of my role as vice president. I'm hoping that I can meet with you guys based on constituency, just because there's a lot of people in this room and I genuinely don't have the time to put in like a 10-15 minute meeting with all of you. So if you could, I'm gonna send out an email soon. Talk to your other constituent members, see what time works for you guys, and then get back to me. That'd be really helpful. But yeah, that'll come out soon.
Refer under the public relations section of the Kodiak. There is the term calendar. A lot of it is out of date, or dates had to get changed around due to like unforeseen weather issues and stuff like that. But the rollover report dates are correct. We're doing rollover reports in 3 different days. Before, we would sit in the Senate chambers until they were done for every single one, executive, senator, whatever, until we finished talking and just passed them all. I purposely broke them up because last semester there was a class in here after us. So we're starting with the senators. You guys are due earlier, then the special committee, and then the executive ones. And then mine and Jess's will be with the executive ones. So please look at those dates. It's coming up a lot faster than you probably expect. It's the end of March when the first one's due. So please get those in. If you need to amend it, say, I don't know, engineering lab goes down at the end of the year and God forbid.
Don't actually
Okay, someone knock on wood.
Knock on the gap.
Something like that were to occur and you need to amend it and say that as of right now, it's closed till the end of the year, you could just email Vice President Cloutier and Secretary Kilday will be the main 2 working on that. So email them and then we'll put the amended language in there and make sure it's included. Because a copy of it also goes to the reps that take on your positions after. So if you're a senior, if you don't come back, they'll know what work you were working on and be able to pick up on it and know what exactly the issues are. Are there any questions or comments about rollover reports?
Please ask if you have questions.
Yeah.
Because we've written a lot of them.
Okay, next we're gonna move into visitors' comments. Are there any visitors' comments at this time? Yes.
I was asked to make a speech here. I did not write the speech. I was just asked to deliver it.
Could you state your name for the sake of the minutes?
Evan Katie. I was asked to deliver the speech due to events here on campus and political struggles with Senate. Recently, I read Anthem by Ayn Rand. At first, I was confused by her use of the word "we" in this book, but I soon realized it was intentional. In Rand's dystopian world, the word "I" has been erased. And the word "I" has been erased, with the individual identity being crushed behind collectivism. The main character, Equality, slowly discovers the power of beauty and individuality of thinking, choosing, and speaking for himself. By the end, he does not merely exist within a group, he stands as a sovereign human being. This warning is not confined to fiction. We are watching a culture, even here on campus, drift toward comfort over freedom, conformity over conscience. When dissent brings punishment, when unpopular speech invites censorship or sanction, fear becomes the governing force. At the prove me wrong table, the person in question was invited dialogue. Agree with me? Let's talk. Disagree with me? Even better. That is the foundation of education. Yet university administration has labeled such engagement as dangerous. He was accused of violating, bullying, and harassment simply for responding to questions and engaging in debate. Meanwhile, when he was threatened or physically insulted, no administrative action was present. They did not intervene to protect open dialogue, they sanctioned those who sought it. Is that justice? Is that equal application of policy, or is it selective enforcement meant to produce silence? Fear is powerful. If students believe they will be graded differently, socially ostracized, or formally punished for speaking their minds, many will choose silence. Some will even pretend agreement. But in silence, the face of conviction is not virtue. It is surrender. In America, we are guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not protection from discomfort. We are promised equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. Our university should be the ultimate marketplace of ideas, a place where dialogue sharpens us, where disagreement refines us. Learning requires challenge, growth requires friction. If an administration prioritizes psychological comfort over intellectual freedom, then learning itself is not placed on the altar of safety. This is not a call for chaos or disrespect, it is a call for courage and consistency. If the administration claims to value engagement and inclusion, then those principles must apply to everyone, not only to approved viewpoints. True inclusion means protecting the rights of those who disagree with. History shows progress has never come from silent compliance. Martin Luther King Jr. did not advance civil rights by remaining quiet. The American founders did not secure independence by complying with authority. Courage, not comfort, in society votes. So I ask you, will we shrink in fear, or will we stand as individuals? Will we allow administrative pressure to dictate what may be thought or spoken? Or will we insist peacefully, respectfully, and firmly on our right to speak and hear one another? We must stand together as individuals, not resentful, not bitter, but resolute, committed to truth, dialogue, and justice. If there is a cost to that, so be it. As Rand wrote, it is said, now let us be lashed for it if we must. Let us choose truth over comfort, dialogue over silence, and freedom over fear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other or visitors' comments at this time?
Please email that to Secretary Kilday, so Secretary Kilday can include that in the minutes. If you do not email it, it's not guaranteed that it will be in the minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other visitors' comments or? Okay, reports, starting with executive reports, finance, wherever you want. Go ahead.
Sorry, was over there. Okay, so this past Sunday, our monthly reports were due, and I'm happy to say that we're only increasing 4 of the 65 clubs to get student senate allocations, so I was happy about that. These 4 clubs include Biomedical Engineering Society, Institute of Electric and Electrical Engineers, Management Association, and Math Club. Just to be clear, they were frozen because they failed to complete a monthly report despite various attempts to get them to do so. I've also been working to get numbers from clubs that reflect how much they've spent during this fiscal year. While I've gotten most of them, I haven't gotten all, so I haven't calculated any percentages as they would be thrown off. You can expect to hear this data at the next Senate meeting. And I have noticed that some of the clubs that we audited said they had a plan to spend money and still have not, so I will be reaching out to them to get further clarification.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about the finance report? Seeing none, legislative, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Please refer to the minutes for my full report. However, I would like to emphasize for the clubs who have not turned in their constitution or vision to me or another person in my committee, the deadline is March 16. I believe that's the break. Obviously exceptions can be granted if you email me and contact me before this deadline. All other constitutions that are turned in after this deadline will likely be saved for the next legislative chair. I'm also working on the seat distribution amendment, as President Kaufman mentioned. I'm currently working on it, and I will be reviewing it over with the executive board this Thursday at our meeting, and then I should tentatively propose that next Tuesday. So yeah, that's all.
Can you send me the post that has the response? That'll be done next Tuesday.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about the legislative report? Campus relations.
Nothing to report on.
Okay. Any questions or comments for campus relations? Seeing none, public relations.
I don't have much to report on with elections coming up. That'll be my next big focus, along with open houses that I usually do. So,
Thank you. Any questions or comments for public relations? Seeing none, academic affairs. She's excused. I have nothing to report on that end. We're gonna move to the senator's comments. Share first, sir. Go ahead.
So, this is just something that has irked me over the weekend and now getting into coming down today. Facilities in Evergreen, I have talked with multiple people. I was over at a friend's place. Their heat is not working. One person said that they had a thermostat in their room. It was 47 degrees in Evergreen. When they asked. What unit, Kaylee? I do not know a unit off the top of my head. When I asked if they asked for a space heater, facilities denied them a space heater, which I feel like was not right because of an issue that they have not been able to resolve. That is what I've been told. It is unacceptable that this is prolonged and that students have to try to find different ways of staying warm in Evergreen, especially given the blizzard that we just had this past weekend. Now, getting to the blizzard that we just had, walking down from Southwood today for the Senate meeting, there were pathways that were not fully cleared that still had an inch of snow that was caked down on that is going to turn into sheer ice overnight with how it's been treated. It is a safety hazard that is concerning for someone that has dealt with multiple lower body injuries over her time at campus, or even people that are trying to just get down to campus quick. The crosswalks have not been cleared appropriately, or if they were cleared, they got plowed back in. Cars that were in lots got plowed in and are stuck in their lots and cannot get out of these lots. This is unacceptable. I can't believe that I have to go ahead and say this year in and year out. But as someone who loves talking about this university when I'm out on tour, I don't feel comfortable enough to go ahead and say how great our campus is, considering the state of our campus right now with how facilities has taken care of things.
Thank you.
It's just like cars being plowed in is a big issue for sure. The crosswalks and pathways, I did notice were not clear. I was assuming that that's why there was a delay this morning, so they could finish that up. I didn't see that either. As far as the heat not working, Evergreen, it's very, facilities is very aware that there's an issue in Evergreen, and the communication they've given to me and Will is that if you file a work order for your house, they will come within a day or two, give you space heaters and give you, and look at your heat. There's an issue with the way that the units are built, the really old units. That's something that the university is gonna have to invest in very soon, but probably not this year. So the space heaters is the best option that we've been given. The fact that they haven't gotten them probably means that they need to call facilities. If you want Nick's phone number.
Yeah.
Did they like literally be like, no, we're not giving you a space heater?
Based off of what I was told, they were told that they were not gonna be getting a space heater, because I think they called facilities.
Okay,
I don't fully know. I'm gonna try to investigate a little more into that
Please.
situation.
send us the unit number and I will literally text Nick and be like, this is an issue for a student, and he will definitely get there today.
If they have a work order number too, if they did put it
Yeah,
in,
the work order number.
or if they called the office, when they called, like the date and time.
Yeah, I'll try to work on getting that information.
Okay.
Thank you. Better go in.
I apologize for this being last minute. The flyer was not shared with me and also didn't get put up until a couple hours ago. But, between health and well-being and Title IX and the DOJ grant, they're gonna be doing a, bystander training on Monday, next Monday from 5 to 7 in Sleep. With that being said, it'll be on campus, off campus, just general bystanders and reporting kind of things.
Or give it to you guys. Any other senators' comments? Treasurer Thurston,
So say pizza will be an incentive, so please try to go and show your support.
Vice President Cloutier.
Just to address the visitor that we had and the speech that he gave. This is something that we haven't shared with you guys directly. We've been meeting with Greg, with the Young Conservatives leadership, with YDS leadership to talk about political discourse on campus. And it's become very clear to us that like personally, I fully agree with what you just said, but university policies are incredibly clear about speech on campus, incredibly clear that Greg Matthews has the final say on student events. And there's genuinely nothing that we as a Senate can do about it, except talk about it. So having a forum for him to come here and share that, great. But in terms of action that we can take, very limited. So I just want to make that clear to you all that we've been talking about it. And really, like, we don't have any authority in that realm. So
I want to pose a question to all of you. Do any of you disagree with any of the current speech policies or the time, place, and manner restrictions?
I think
I've-
I clarified.
Okay.
They found it.
Well,
So basically, the time, place, and manner restrictions say that an event needs to take place. It's basically just saying that Greg has the authority. And if that's like the whole time, place, and manner, it can't cause a disruption on
Yeah.
campus.
Could someone pull up his email and read it?
Yes.
Everyone was sent an email about the time, place, and manner restriction, when it was put up. But we'll have Jess read it out, and if you guys want to have a conversation about it, or think that it is too far, we can have a conversation about it right now. And please speak freely on it, we're debating behind the scenes about little nuances and stuff with it too. So anything that you can think of, we welcome dialogue about it. Yes.
All members of Western New England University community, including faculty, staff, and students, have a right to peaceful demonstration on the campus of Western New England University. The university reserves the right, regardless of the content of the demonstration, to limit, disallow, or disband a demonstration that incites immediate violent action or represents a clear and present danger to the campus community, or if for any reason of time, place, or manner of behavior, the demonstration materially disrupts classwork or other university business, involves substantial disorder, or invades the rights of others. All members of the community are expected to conduct dialogues with dignity and courtesy. Any student wishing to stage a demonstration or protest must obtain permission from the Senior Vice President of Enrollment Management and Student Life and the Assistant Vice President of Public Safety. That's Greg, Enrollment Management.
And Ray,
And Ray. So,
or, no, and Chief.
yeah, Chief Ward. The Young Conservatives, their tabling event was docked because Greg believed that the demonstration materially disrupted other university business, students walking to class. So the the solution there was, okay, you can hold these events just as you're doing, but they need to be in an enclosed space and inside somewhere. That way you're not disrupting students as they're walking to class or trying to go about their day.
They could choose to not be there.
Yeah.
So I like, just because Greg is saying this doesn't mean that we all have to sit here and be like, yeah, that makes sense, all that sense.
Yeah.
Like,
As of right now, like that same type of event could happen in CCA during the exact same time that they were having it, and they could put a sign with a red arrow pointing to go into that room. There's no restriction on like their events, their public events happening where they have debates about policy. Now, whether or not the stuff that they say goes into a conduct issue is different, but that's not what we cover, just the events themselves. Again, that same event could happen in CCA at the same time, and they could just put a sign out with an arrow where they were before, saying that's where it is. So does anyone think that that is unreasonable, that they should be able to just put a table on Deliso and hold their events like that? Or you'd say it.
personally, I think that a student walking to class doesn't have to engage with that content if they don't want to. So I thought the reasoning was kind of a stretch there. But again, there's a literal clause that says they need permission from Greg, so that's kind of the extent of how I think about it.
Senator Goodman.
I would agree with Jess in that even though they're outside, the student still has the decision. It's up to them. And I feel like there's a precedent of these events typically taking place outside in an open space. Like if you.
On other campuses.
On other, is what I mean, on other campuses, it's usually demonstrations are outside for whoever wants to walk by and join. I do understand that Greg helps that.
Joe Lucier.
Would there not be like some sort of middle ground with just moving it back further into Delicio lawn where it's not on the actual pathway so students wouldn't interact?
We talked about possibly moving it to Commonwealth too, because like the big thing was like how big the gathering was and like the potential for safety issues with that and like blocking literally where everyone walks. Like that was Greg's perspective on it. And we brought up, what if we moved it to Commonwealth? And he said that he would be more open to something like that. Or like so that wouldn't cause an issue where literally everyone's walking. So that was something that we have talked about. That's not necessarily something I can say we've worked out for sure and that they can do, but it was an idea that has been floated. Similar to what you just said, moving it further back, which would kind of do the same thing, assuming it doesn't get out of hand. So don't really have an answer as to where they sit on that, but we're looking into that. Or sorry, Senator Lipscomb first.
I was just thinking that you said that because I know they had a tabling event before they were like fully recognized. And I know that there was like a big crowd because it was at the edge of the like the walkway, so it was like issues getting passed. And you could go around, but like you shouldn't have to. But I also agree that students have the choice if they just want to keep walking or like go around. But I think it would be fine because they did get recognized and that public safety can just put an officer there because they do that like at other rallies and stuff like that. Like there's just somebody standing by. So I think it would be fine, but also moving it to Commonwealth would be pretty smart, especially if it's during common hour because people are usually awake and I feel like it wouldn't be too much of a disruption. So maybe moving it over there.
So one thing that I will say is like too, with having it like right there in the Deliso area, you have to think about the like prospective students coming in through too for tours. So like moving it to Commonwealth would be a better option if like they were allowed to have it in an open space. But also like we have to think about the prospective students that are coming to look at this school and how it's gonna impact their choice too. Because that could significantly impact their choice of whether or not they want to come to this institution based on what they're seeing on campus. I've heard families say that multiple different times today. So I agree, and it really depends on how the university wants to promote themselves. Is this a campus where we promote free speech, political or not, regardless of the feelings of students that are coming? Or is this a campus where, kind of like what he said, we kind of work towards this one idea that peace over disagreement kind of thing?
Treasurer Thurston.
This is my personal opinion. You can agree if you'd like, you don't have to. I feel like if I was a prospective student, just putting myself in those shoes, I'd be happy to see that kind of engagement on campus. I think that living in such a politically polarized world, it would be great to be in a university that can communicate and work with others who don't have the same views as them, which is a big problem in modern day. So I'd be happy to see that.
Senator Dillon.
I'm just like, did Greg talk about how this would affect other organizations that do use Deliso Lawn as a promotion space? Because if we make the motion to have the Young Conservatives only be able to be in Commonwealth Lawn in an outdoor space, what happens to Aramark or the Senate events that happen on that lawn that even Greg is a part of running? What happens there?
So, so what we've been told to understand is that it's because their event was focused on inviting or engaging with people in debate, and that's something they didn't want to do in like a public area. If you remember last year or last semester, YDS had a table event where they were just promoting a different type of event where they were handing out flyers, but they weren't engaging in types of debate. That was fine. It's just that like inviting or engaging in debate, which is why I personally think I think the happy middle ground is just having them move indoors. I think that also promotes free speech and just having somebody outside be like, if you would like to engage, you can come in here. If you don't want to, just keep walking by.
I'd like to disagree with that because like the amount of times I've been late to class because of an Aramark event where I'm eating, like waiting in line to get food because it looks pretty good. I mean, I don't think I'm just being honest here.
Treasurer Thurston.
I don't think the issue here is like you being late to class. I think the issue is some students feel as though when they're walking by these events that this community isn't their home because of such conversation and content that's going on at these booths. So Aramark, I can see it being a problem if you're getting to class late. I do understand, but it's not the same issue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm mostly just talking about the space usage.
Yeah.
Like,
Senator Anston.
Yeah, so one thing is I kind of agree with Will. It does seem like a happy middle ground, like just by bringing it indoors. And then it would also kind of like, it would, I feel like have more purpose, I guess, because it's the people that really want to go in and debate in that room, right? Like no one would be able to walk by and just yell something to get the crowd riled up or something like that, right? Like it's going to be a lot more controlled, it seems. It seems like a lot more people, like if you want to be there, you're in there instead of just standing there to see what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't think that's like a bad thing if you are, but it's also like, it limits the amount of like, I don't know. I feel like third party like input, like just like rile up or something, like just yelling something while you're walking by.
That's a good point, Tim.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, go.
So to move off that, you have to understand that we are a private university. So being on a private university and being a private property, administration does withhold the right to limit free speech to a point because we are on private property. Again, if they chose to take it to literally the sidewalk, which is off of private property, then those rules no longer apply. But that is something to take consider, which is why they are so persistent on pushing it indoors and into that space. So they're not on a common area for all students. If you want to participate that, you are choosing to go into that room versus simply walking by. It's right in front of your face, whether you want it or not.
I'm gonna agree with Bree. I think it's kind of refreshing being able to hear what people want to say. I think that the idea of moving them to Commonwealth isn't so much just trying to isolate them, but just trying to find a more appropriate space for the volume of people that their events are creating. And also, prospective students should come here looking to know what this campus community is like. And if we're promoting free speech for everybody, they should see that, whether or not it causes them psychological distress. It's still your choice whether or not you want to engage in that, and that's freedom in itself.
Right. Is that for us to determine or for the administration? That's the question that I think about a lot.
Adding on to that, I feel like these are all really good options because I went to they had like an event. I went to the one that was indoors in what is that?
Woodland?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to that event indoors. And it was pretty, there was still discourse, and then there was like an officer there, there was like this professor, and Greg was there, and it was really good conversation. But I feel like being indoors or outdoors, it doesn't really matter, but being indoors meaning that it'd be a more purposeful event, because people are actively going, but being more outdoors, people have more freedom to see whatever they want because there's an open space. So I just feel like it all depends on what the event is like looking for, because if it's in indoors, it would probably be at night, so it'd be like more planning and stuff like that, but outdoors is more like open conversation. But couldn't we add like a student to like converse with Greg when he's making these decisions, or would that be like, you would have to create another
We meet with Greg almost every week.
Yeah.
so couldn't you guys like give your opinion on that as well?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How did the attendance compare between the outdoor event and the one that was inside?
Okay, so I went to the indoor one pretty later on, but as I was going in there was like kids leaving and like actively engaging and stuff like that. So I guess it would also vary because the event was about 2 hours long and I went to the indoor half of the event, so it was like me and a couple of other people there.
Mhm.
But I guess in the beginning of the event, there was way more people there because as I was going in, people were leaving. And as I said, I went to the later half of it. And then compared to the outdoors one, I feel like people were just more of an like there was a word, like there was a lot of like
The animosity that.
yeah, because I saw like a lot of different perspectives online on like social media about these saying these outlandish statements or people agreeing with him. So it all depends. I feel like more outdoorsy, you might have a little bit more I don't want to say violence, but you know, more like tension in the air
Yeah,
because of
rhetoric
outside.
and rhetoric that
Yeah.
makes students feel threatened and
And, yeah.
unwelcome.
But I feel like indoors would be a little bit more calmer because people are sitting and you know, they can actively leave or not have to.
I want to completely hop on and agree with what Senator Hampson said. I think a lot of the reason that issue stemmed from this entire table sitting was that just kind of things got a little out of control. Like I know as the crowd grew, like there were side arguments that started spinning from people that weren't even like running the event, like just random people that were there just started arguing on the side of the table. I feel like if this event were to be held on more of an open common space with less foot traffic, such as like Commonwealth Lawn, that some of those less would happen because less people that are like just walking through would stop and engage in it. Kind of like the same thing when we've had like the pie event, like random people because it's on their pathway will just stop and engage in it. I feel like if you put it somewhere where it's gonna happen, where there's less active foot traffic going through, you're gonna alleviate some of those issues automatically. I feel like events like this should be in public open spaces. That shouldn't just be restricted indoors. Because if it's an indoor event, some people aren't gonna know about it. A lot of times people just see an event going on, that's the engage. But I think separating it from just a walkway where anyone will just hear or might get like involved in like the crossfire of an event makes it so that way it can happen and alleviate some of those issues.
Okay, we're gonna post a poll into GroupMe. We'll keep it open till the end of the day today. But we're gonna put 3 options in it, right?
Yes.
One of them is going to signal your support for I guess alleviating the current time, place, and manner restrictions to include places like Deliso and the outdoor walking areas, then alleviating it to the point where you allow it on like Commonwealth, but outside of like the middle of campus, and then keeping it as it is, as Greg had instituted a couple months ago.
Inside events.
Yeah, so vote for which one you honestly think would be the best in representing your constituents and representing this campus community is the best for this campus. And we'll keep it open till the end of the day.
And I'm very, very curious to see how it comes out.
Yeah.
What was the subject of that email so we can reread it again?
I think that only went out.
No, there was another
There was
one.
another one that was to the whole campus. I just searched Greg in my email and it popped up like right.
If you go to the UGrad or campus community, it's one of his.
Should I just
recent
forward
ones.
this to Greg?
Is it the important note one?
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
The
it's,
important note from Greg Matt.
Or no, that was the.
That was the bullying.
That was
That was the bullying one?
That's different.
And it reads
He-
differently than the one that
He
you guys.
emailed us all saying that there was a policy update. I believe the name of it was like policy update or something like that, because he has to inform the campus community when they amend it, and he made an amendment. And that was the amendment.
It's not, breach of.
Maybe it is important. Yeah,
That's the one addressed.
the important note links the handbook. So the time, place, if you control F time, place, and manner into the handbook, you'll find it. But there should be another one.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of it.
It is important note.
that's the one that I was looking at.
Okay, maybe it is important note. My bad.
Alleviate.
Increase
all.
I might be thinking of a draft.
You're thinking of this email campus.
No, not that one. That one. Yes.
So just for clarification on what this group vote is on, the first option is for alleviating it to making over all spaces.
Yes.
Second is for leaving it just so it's open to some outdoor spaces, and third is keeping as is.
Yes.
Yes, and I'll make it very, very clear.
All right, thank you.
Are there any last second questions or comments on this topic? Okay, seeing none, are there any other pressing issues? Seeing none, yeah, okay.
Everyone, today's Jess's birthday, so everyone say happy birthday. Happy birthday.
In the name of celebrating Jess's birthday, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those